Think about a GPS. And whenever you're using a GPS to get to a destination, you're really intentional about inputting an address, so you know exactly where you're going to go. Unfortunately, with communications, we often don't have that same intentionality. We just sort of get in the car and we start driving. We're unaware of the kind of experience that we actually create. So we developed a framework called the Communicators Roadmap to help you think about how to shift and change your experience, all by focusing in on the destination. So picture this. On a vertical axis, you've got emotional connection, how you say the words. That's the rapport that you build with others, that's trust, that's likability. So you have that on a vertical axis from high to low. On the horizontal axis, you have content. And that content runs the spectrum from being self-centered to audience-centered. Let's take a look at what happens when these two axes intersect. So let's say you've got a low emotional connection and you've got self-centered content landing you in that lower left quadrant. That's where you're creating an experience where you are informing others. Maybe you're a subject matter expert in a given area. You could think about that boring college professor. Now let's move up. If we still have that self-centered subject matter expert content and we move up the emotional connection axis, now we're building rapport, there's likability that's engaged there. There's an emotional connection with the audience. Think about an ESPN commentator. You can think about Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. In the business setting, for example, being an MC at some sort of event. As you shift from self-centered content over to audience-centered content, that's where you start moving from information to influence, where you're actually getting people to do something differently. Now, you can influence in two different ways. You can influence by authority, and that's where you would find yourself in the lower right quadrant of direct, where you're directing people. Think of Jack Welch. Think of Anna Wintour. So they're very effective leaders at getting things done, but they lead by authority. What if you could now take that experience and all of a sudden boost your emotional connection up so that now you've got audience-centered content paired with a really high emotional connection? Now you're creating an experience that can actually inspire people. All of a sudden, now they're doing it because they want to. They say, sign me up, I'm in, what do I have to do next? I want to be part of this. You'll find leaders like Bono advocating against extreme poverty. You'll also find Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook. You'll find Nelson Mandela there as well. And they are intentional about creating this experience where they're inspiring others to do something differently. Now that we have the 4 quadrants laid out, your challenge is to figure out where you want to go with intention. So what's the address that you're putting into your GPS in order to get to that destination?